Good afternoon to all of you. The UTEP campus leadership has been meeting regularly to address the COVID-19 virus. The Centers for Disease Control have recommended community mitigation strategies to help slow the transmission of COVID-19, and in particular to protect individuals at increased risk of severe illness. The state of Texas has declared an emergency, as has the federal government. UTEP's goals that will guide our decisions here over the coming weeks are really four of them. First, we want to keep our students, faculty, and staff healthy to the best of our ability. Second, we want to complete the semester without disruption of educational progress. Third, UTEP will participate in community mitigation strategies to slow the transmission of respiratory virus infections as recommended by public health experts. And fourth, we want to minimize disruptions to daily life and university operations. UTEP will remain open for faculty and staff. Business operations and student services will continue while observing social distancing guidance from the Centers for Disease Control. Classes that are already taught by distance will continue as scheduled. Clinical rotations for healthcare students will continue and will be subject to the guidance of the healthcare facility at which students work. In order to align with the public schools and others, and to allow faculty time to modify course delivery methods, face-to-face classes for the week of March 23 to 29 following spring break are canceled. Starting March 30th, UTEP will move to remote delivery of course content wherever possible. In cases where course content can't be delivered remotely, such as some laboratories and performing arts courses, faculty and staff will reconfigure classes and classrooms to achieve social distance. Faculty will be communicating directly with students concerning plans for their specific courses. The campus remains open. There will be more information forthcoming about computer labs that will be opened, staffed, and cleaned in accordance with best health practices so that students have access to those computer labs. University-sponsored international and domestic travel is suspended, with the exception of travel to and from Ciudad Juarez. Large gatherings of more than 250 people will be canceled or moved to smaller groupings of people. And in accordance with the declaration of state of emergency in Texas, we do expect that other large gatherings by organizations that are renting space from the university, including those at the Don Haskins Center, will be postponed. A final word for our students. You know, there are a lot of things that I really love about UTEP students. You work hard, you're resourceful, you care for others, you're talented and intelligent. We are going to do everything we can as faculty and staff to keep you on track to your degree. But this is going to require a lot of hard work and flexibility from all of you too. We know that. And every challenge, an opportunity. This is the time for each of you as our students to take greater responsibility as emerging professionals and community leaders. I'd like to ask each of you to renew your commitment to master the material in your courses this semester, even if that material is delivered differently than perhaps you expected at the start of the semester. But more than that, I'd ask you to help each other. Help each other to master the material and even pitch in to help your professors and your community. That's what it means to be a minor. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer your questions.
How is UTEP going to accommodate the students with disabilities now that the university is going to transition to online classes?
We actually, we've had some discussions about that with our leadership team, and we have some folks who are going to be helping and working with students with disabilities. Dr. Wiebe, our interim provost, is here, and he can probably elaborate on that.
Sure. So we have a Center for Accommodation and Support Services where we have staff who can make recommendations about how best to accommodate students, and we have tech support services and extended university who are experts at making those accommodations. They'll be ready to support faculty as they prepare for remote delivery.
You mentioned the campus would remain open. Would that apply to like library and like food pantries?
Yes, the entire campus will remain open. One of the things that we are going to be doing, of course, it's spring break next week, but one of the things we'll be doing over spring break is our facilities folks will be adjusting some of our public spaces to put more distance between seats and those kinds of things, and we'll be deciding which computer labs will be kept open, particularly for students who don't have regular access to a computer or access to Wi-Fi, and we will create distance in those laboratories and also establish a cleaning procedure so that those keyboards and things are cleaned in accordance with health guidelines.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by, remote, moving the classes more remote, and those classes that are already taught at a distance, you said they're going to continue. Can you kind of explain what that means, what classes you're saying are taught by distance and what classes are going to be changed?
It is our intention to move all classes that can be moved to distance learning, to online learning, to go in, to make a shift to that mode. There are some courses that it's very difficult to do that, performing arts, laboratory courses, and so in those cases we're going to have to give faculty the flexibility to work with their chairs and their deans to look at how we might do that. As an example, if you have a biology lab or a chemistry lab where there are a lot of students close together, it may be possible that half of the class would meet on the Tuesday, the other half would meet on the Thursday, so there would be half the number of students in that laboratory at any one time. So that'll take some flexibility. This is a very large and complex institution, and while we're announcing and putting out guidelines to our faculty, staff, and students today, there are 1,000 decisions that are made every day, which is why we're giving objectives to our and goals to our faculty and staff and guidelines, and asking them to use their intelligence and creativity to meet the needs of our students.
For the 2 weeks, how are you going to be able to be cleaning the areas of the campus? Which main areas of the campus should be cleaned?
Our campus is cleaned every night, and we've already, even in the past 2 weeks, had meetings with the janitorial contractors and staff on increasing cleaning. So cleaning of hard surfaces and important surfaces like doorknobs and other things are actually cleaned daily. As we shift to things like the computer lab, the standards for some of those things like keyboards that are used in a public space is actually hourly. So we will be guided by the best practices of the health professionals.
Spring commencement or anything like that will be canceled or postponed?
Too early.
So it sounds like you don't expect it to have to extend the students' time in school or like their degree plans and stuff like that?
And as I mentioned, we started out by saying, what are our goals here? What do we want everyone to try to achieve? We want to keep our students, faculty, and staff healthy to the best of our ability, and we want to complete the semester without disruption of educational progress. So for our faculty who are shifting to online delivery and trying to do that and given extra time to do that, we're still expecting them to adjust their curriculum and their syllabus so that students will be able to complete the semester on time. Dr. Wiebe, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think that's pretty comprehensive. We will work with the faculty to adjust syllabi to keep students on track to the best of our ability.
Thank you. Last question.
I wanted to know if you could repeat when you plan to reopen the campus for students to come back.
The campus remains open. Next week is spring break. The following week, in face-to-face classes are canceled. We have a lot of different kinds of classes here, and I know, other institutions may not have as many as much complexity in types of classes, but classes that are done by distance are continuing. Not everyone has spring break next week, for example. There are a number of nursing students that don't have spring break. They're on a different schedule next week. So those classes continue with no change. What we're allowing is the faculty to have a little bit more time to shift so that students aren't sitting in a lecture hall with a lot of other students, which is where the rub is from the Centers of Disease Control point of view.
And any limit to visitors?
There is no limit at this point to visitors to campus. We do, as faculty and staff, and also students, have limits on where we can travel. But I believe we've given some guidance to faculty and staff about considering non-essential face-to-face meetings and whether they need to have those. So again, allowing discretion for capable people to make those decisions in their own office spaces. We would expect to finish out, and we plan to finish out the semester in a distance delivery mode. Thank you all very much.